Hi there, it's Lee Hendricks with Proactive Health Style, and tonight I'm really excited to bring you the first of a multi-part series, and this is essential oils for geeks. If you're anything like me, I want to know why these things work. I love my essential oils. I use them all the time, but I'm also a nurse by trade, and so I've got that scientific background, and I need to know the why. So let's just kind of go back and remember what essential oils are. They come from plants. Remember, plants have been at the making of essential oils for 300 million years. That's an awfully long time, and you better believe they are masters of chemistry. Now, it's a part of the photosynthesis process when plants are creating energy for themselves, energy for food for themselves, and oxygen, which we enjoy quite a bit. There's also something called secondary metabolites being made. Now, it's those secondary metabolites that are actually our essential oils. Now, what is a secondary metabolite? That's an interesting term, right? Well, it actually doesn't contribute to the maintenance and life of the plant. The life can live quite well without essential oils. In fact, many plants do live without essential oils. Doesn't contribute to the growth of the plant, doesn't contribute to reproduction of the plant, but what they do, these essential oils, they attract pollinators, which is certainly going to help with reproduction of the plant. They protect it from herbivores, fungi, bacteria, viruses, so it can prolong the life of the plant and make it a lot healthier. It also communicates to other plants. So I know I live in the rainforest area, and if you ever go near a cedar tree, you'll notice that not too much grows around the base of the cedar tree. We don't get an understory here in the rainforest because of what's put up by our plants, they're not particularly wanting anything else to grow with them. So, our ancient human ancestors, they were 100% dependent upon plants for food, for life, right? We've been ingesting essential oils as a part of our plant-based diet forever. Now, the interesting bit is that plants and essential oils have actually shaped how we have evolved in the world. So we'll look a little more closely at that in a few moments. Now, you've undoubtedly encountered an essential oil that has just gone, wow, this is amazing. And one of my first experiences was with lavender oil. I burnt myself quite badly. I had been doing some canning, and when I took the lid off the canner, the pressure hadn't been completely relieved, and so that boiling hot water under pressure bubbled up all of my arm, and I had a really severe burn right down here. I also had a 2-year-old child that needed to get to ballet, so off I go, being a great mom, taking my child to ballet in absolute misery and pain, like having ice cubes trying to control the pain. Fast forward on this story, went to the doctor's office, and there was like the red streaks going up the arm. I knew it was far too early for blood poisoning. The burn had just happened, and he wants me to go to the emergency department every day for dressing changes. I'm going like, the doctor's strike was on. I'm a mother of a 2-year-old. Going to an emergency department every day, it's just not in the cards. It's not going to happen. And I went, okay, what am I going to do? And so that's when I started with lavender and some aloe vera. And it's like instantly went on. It's like, whew, pain gone. Going, oh my gosh, it's incredible. And then within 3 days, the burn was resolved. This was a 2nd-degree burn, resolved in 3 days. And I'm just going like, wow. So I go to tell my colleagues, my doctor and nurse friends, and they all go, well, how? And I go, I don't know. And they go, right, you don't, like, how can this work if you don't even know how? And I looking on the internet, there's nothing. Like, I don't know how this works. And because I don't know how it works, that kind of makes people say it doesn't work. And lies the problem. Without that valid research, that absence of the research gives rise to the belief that essential oils are ineffective. And without that scientific verification, some people just think you're playing with fairy dust, right? And that's certainly what I've felt in the past. So what makes research valid? This is the question we have to ask. So the gold standard in pharmaceutical research is the study has to have 2 specific qualities to it. First off, you have to have a single component that's causing a single action. One component, one action. Second bit of information you have to have is, what is that mechanism of action? So item A causes B, and it does it this way. That's what your gold standard pharmaceutical type of research has to show. We call this reductionist science. It's bringing everything down to a base level. And that's where the problem is. All variables must be controlled. And in a drug, this works really well because it's generally just a single component, a specific target, and you can figure out that approach. But in the case of essential oils, it doesn't work after all. Any essential oil has multiple components, and they work synergistically. Working synergistically, it's a difficult word when your tongue is dry. Working synergistically is in direct opposition to that scientific reductionist model. And also the essential oils don't necessarily have a specific target. They may have multiple targets as well. So what we've done from the science perspective is to look at essential oils in the same way that we look at pharmaceuticals. Doesn't really work. But even though it doesn't work in this very limited perspective, we have discovered a few things. Instead of aiming at specific targets, the way that drugs do, they affect systems. They have these really generalized mechanisms of action as well as specific targets. But these generalized mechanisms are really interesting. You have to take into account that plants have got this very, very wide spectrum of things that they're trying to protect themselves from, namely herbivores, bacteria, pathogens, parasites, bacteria, viruses, all that sort of stuff. And so, they're kind of standing still, those plants. They have to be able to affect this broad range of things with what they have to hand with their essential oils. And so these broad mechanisms of actions include things like inhibition of enzymes, interaction with membrane receptors, interaction with nuclear receptors, inflammation mediators, and being able to affect DNA, RNA, and proteins. That's a lot to talk about. So since we're going to do a series on this, let's just start with one. I want to start with enzymes. Now, enzymes are really, really interesting. We've all heard the word, but do we know what they are? And I think for a lot of people, we've just heard enzymes, but don't necessarily know what they are. So enzymes are specialized proteins, and they are vital for life. They act as catalysts in chemical reactions. And what they do is they speed up those chemical reactions a chameleon-fold. And this is really necessary. It's that speed of the reactions that's necessary for life. Because if we had those reactions just going on without that catalyst of the enzyme, they'd be so slow. And we would die. So first off, it adds speed to the chemistry. You need some coenzymes, namely vitamins and minerals, to work with those enzymes, which is why your vitamin and mineral supplements are so important, because without those proper vitamins and minerals, your enzymes might not be functioning properly. But on with what they do. So there's 4 vital areas that the enzymes really affect in the body. Metabolizing food is one. Copying your genetic information to make new cells is another one. Generating energy, and detoxifying foreign substances. So first off, looking at metabolizing food, right? Our food, the whole aim of digestion is the breakdown of that food into the tiny little building blocks that our body needs to build new cells, to build new enzymes, to build proteins for energy, blah, 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 blah. And we can't do it in the gross form that we eat food. It has to be broken down into these primary molecules that can be used as building blocks throughout the body. And that's the job of enzymes. Now, if you're missing some enzymes, you're going to have some problems. Like take lactase, for example. Lactase is what breaks down milk proteins. No lactase, and you have lactose intolerance, right? So those proteins aren't being broken down. So you can imagine in the gut, if you don't have proper enzyme activity going on, you're not going to be able to break down food properly. You're going to have these large particles. You're going to end up with something like leaky gut. So hugely important in our gut for proper breakdown. The next one was like copying new genetic material for new cells. Remember, we are constantly changing at the cellular level. We've all heard those statistics of we have a new body every 7 years or 15 years or whatever it is, depending on where you read it, something different. That's because our cells are constantly dividing. And what happens in that cellular division is you have enzymes unwind the DNA strand, separate it, replicate the strands, and there's one for each of the daughter cells. So we're always getting our genetic material, that genetic coding, our chromosomes, into each cell. So that blueprint for life carries on. That's fairly, if we don't have that exact replica going on, we're going to have a lot of abnormalities, we're going to have mutations in our cells, and that's just going to be nasty, basically. The next one is for generating energy. Now, our body utilizes fats, sugars, and proteins for energy, and how it does that is through a process called cellular respiration. And actually, when we breathe in, we're taking oxygen into the body. It goes into the cells, actually goes into the mitochondria. And these are little powerhouses within the cells, right? But it's in those little powerhouses, in the presence of oxygen, that we take these energy molecules that we've derived from fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, and we break them down. And it's the enzymic action in the Krebs cycle. Remember that? You have enzymes in the ATP and releasing the triphosphate and blah, 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 blah. So you probably don't, because I really don't either. But it's the enzymes that are responsible for releasing energy. And energy does work in the body. So if you can affect the enzymes that are releasing energy, either inhibit them or help them, going to have huge effects as well. The other way that we use enzymes is in the liver for detoxification of things like pharmaceuticals, foreign substances, lots of toxins and everything else. But those liver enzymes, there's a phase 1 and a phase 2 for detoxification. In phase 1 detoxification, we take these toxins and we break them down. But they can be really, really toxic. This is where we have lots of carcinogens, lots of like real nasty stuff, right? And it's in phase 2 where another group of enzymes makes these toxins water soluble so we can pass it through the kidneys and pee it out. This is all very good. But what happens if our phase 1 enzymes are more abundant and working faster than the phase 2? We end up with a net toxic load and carcinogens, which can be really problematic. Now, what essential oils will do is they will inhibit the phase 1, so it slows down the production of this toxic stuff, and support the phase 2 so that it makes it water soluble quicker. So we're just kind of balancing things out. Hence, you get liver detoxification. Now, this is really, really interesting. Remember I said at the very beginning of this little lecture, we were going to see how plants helped humans evolve. Let's go way back. Way back to our ancient ancestors who were first populating the earth and spreading out. Every time they were spreading out, they'd encounter new food sources, new plants. And they'd nibble on those, and a lot of them would cause them stomach problems. They need the fats and the proteins and the carbohydrates that these plants provide. And over time, what would happen when they were eating these plants is the essential oils in them that would cause them discomfort or whatever, but eventually our bodies respond to the essential oils and start to create the enzymes. And so that's actually the mechanism that caused the liver enzymes to evolve. I think that's kind of cool. So our evolution as a species is influenced by plants and essential oils. I'm Lee Hendricks from Proactive Health Style. I hope you'll check out my website, proactivehealthstyle.com, and make sure you sign up for our Wednesday webinars. And if you want any questions answered, please contact me through my website. Thanks very much for watching. Bye now.